All right. Well, they have decided that you will sacrifice. Billionaires have decided you're going to sacrifice. Millionaires with $700 million to their name have said it's okay for you to pay more. Wow. That is really something, isn't it? Here's something that's becoming clearer and clearer by the day. And once you kind of see it in this context, it's very hard to not see it all of a sudden. The people making the decisions are not the people paying the price. But that's obvious in a way. I'm talking about a deeper layer. Of course, it's always the case that when the president sends troops into war, the president doesn't pay the price. The president sits in D.C., or depending on whether the president is Trump, in Florida, playing golf at Mar-a-Lago. And the president has Secret Service protection, and the president is not going to be killed in combat. That's an old thing. That's been the case for a long time. But there's something else, and there's something deeper. Trump, the billionaire, Senator Rick Scott, the centimillionaire, Scott Bessent, who's got, $500 million to his name. They have decided that the financial sacrifice that you are going to make is worth it to the country. They've got hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, but you are going to have to sacrifice financially and pay higher prices. Take Rick Scott. He says to Maria Bartiromo on Fox, I know that gas prices are hitting people. I know that food prices are hitting people. His heart goes out to them, right? But Trump's doing the right thing. And apparently paying more for everything is part of the plan, and it's worth it for what we're doing in Iran. 90% of Americans disagree. Listen to Rick Scott. Listen to his tone. He certainly doesn't sound very worried to me. He sounds like he's simply explaining a trade-off. It's not emotionally salient in any way.
What are you going to do about this? I mean, do you expect this is going to be over in the next couple of weeks and enough time so that people are not feeling this pain of higher prices going into the midterms?
Well, number one, I grew up in a poor family, so I know this impact on gas and food prices, all that is really impacting people, and my heart goes out to them. But
he understands. He feels so passionate about it. Listen, I know.
The president is doing the right thing. It's better to make sure we are not going to be destroyed by a nuclear weapon or ballistic missiles.
Nuclear weapon.
He made a tough decision, which was the right decision, and he will do everything he can to make sure this ends quickly. So I'm appreciative of what the president's done, and I'd like gold prices to come down, but I want to be safe first.
Yeah. You can tell he really sounds devastated by the fact that other Americans are paying more money. It's really tough for him, guys. Now, then you've got Donald Trump himself talking about rising oil prices, rising gas prices. And he says something very interesting, which is he expected that it would be worse. He went into this thing willingly with the expectation that gas and oil prices would be even higher. It's not that prices are too high or that people are struggling. I thought it would have been a lot worse, and I was okay with that.
We're not giving a nuclear weapon to terrorist thugs, and we're knocking the hell out of them. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their leaders are gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, everything's gone. And no, I expected worse, actually. I really thought that oil prices would go much higher when I did this. We just set every record.
So listen, what Trump is saying there is, I actually was okay with Americans paying even more than what is now $4 a gallon for gas. And it was still, he was willing to make that sacrifice. Now, of course, he's not making any sacrifice. Karoline Leavitt was similarly asked. There are people who voted for Trump because he promised no new wars and lower gas prices. We've got new wars and higher gas prices. And Karoline Leavitt is just like, he's doing all of this for you, the American people.
Many of whom voted for President Trump for the first time in 2024, hoping to have no more wars and to have lower prices. Now, with the war taking place and with gas prices going up, curious what President Trump's message would be to those voters who kind of swung into his coalition in 2024, but maybe don't feel the administration's going as they had expected.
President Trump is doing this for you. He's doing this for young people so that we are no longer threatened by a rogue terrorist regime in the Middle East that seeks to kill the brave men and women who serve in our country in the Middle East.
All right. You get it. He's doing it for you. Here's all the reasons why it's great. So what's going on? You are paying more. Things are getting more expensive, and you're being told it's good for you. It's like when you try to tell a picky little kid eat the broccoli. It's good for you. And they're like, it doesn't really seem that way. This is somehow benefiting you. That's the through line. Decisions are being made at the top by people with enormous wealth who are completely insulated from the consequences. And everybody else has got to accept it. And you've got to be happy. Be happy about the higher prices because we're winning in Iran. And be happy about the instability in the stock market and for your retirement account. And if you question it, I don't know that you really understand. But I think people do understand. There are some ways in which the country has failed the national IQ test. There are tens of millions of people out there who voted for Donald Trump 3 times. You want to talk about failing an IQ test? There it is. At the same time, people know when their grocery bill is up, but they were told it would go down. People know when putting gas in their car costs more, even though they were told it was going to cost less. So they understand the promises that got them to vote one way. And then they see that something very different is what's happening. And it's a disconnect that isn't subtle. It is not hidden behind a complicated policy explanation where, I did promise to cut the deficit and I kind of did, but it's because of the interest that it's kind of technical. This isn't that. He said our gas prices would be down and they're up 50% in 2 months. He said that he wasn't going to do wars and he's doing a new war. And he said there's going to be more manufacturing jobs than ever and there aren't. And the people at the top are saying effectively, you will sacrifice, we've decided, and you're going to like it. So going back to our discussion from the first segment, how long is that going to work? Biden and Harris learned it doesn't work. You can tell people everything's awesome until you're blue in the face. If they feel that it doesn't work, then they're going to vote on that basis. And there are political consequences to that. Telling people that the higher costs are good for them is not going to land indefinitely. I believe it is already not landing, and it's going to be a major problem for Republicans come a few months from now. Appreciate you watching. Stick around for this next video, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you actually see our uploads. You can also catch the full podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.